Welcome to Upper Elementary Simplified, the podcast where busy and overwhelmed teachers find thoughtful ideas to get students engaged in meaningful learning experiences. Hi, I'm Danna Rodebush, former fifth grade classroom teacher and founder of Teacher Tech Studio. I'm here to share practical tips and strategies that will help you grow as an educator. If you are a tired upper elementary teacher searching for ways to cut down your planning time while boosting student engagement, you are in the right spot. Are you ready? Let's simplify. You know that classroom management is a make or break factor in your classroom. So, why do we as teachers so often struggle with classroom management? Well, it's not easy. Thankfully, there are teachers out there who have mastered the art of classroom management. I have one of those teachers here with me today. This week, I chatted with Jennifer Raymond from the Old Barn Teaching Company, and she gave lots of great classroom management tips. Jennifer is an upper elementary teacher from Glendale, Arizona. She has been teaching for 13 years and loves every second of it. Her passion is teaching and engaging students. She loves to teach engaging and fun activities. Jennifer has three grown children and is a veteran of the United States Army. She loves to celebrate teachers and is a lifelong learner. Let's welcome Jennifer to the show. Jennifer, welcome to the show. Please tell my audience a little bit about you and how you serve the education community.
Well, I am a fourth grade teacher. I've been a teacher for 13 years. I am the owner and creator of the Old Barn Teaching Company. I mostly serve upper elementary and, with classroom management or math resources or reading. So it's just a little bit of everything. I love teaching and I love helping teachers love teaching. So.
I love that. I love that you love teaching and that you love helping teachers love teaching. I think that's great. So, I do know that classroom management is one of your big passions. So, let's start out by talking about why classroom management is so important.
Classroom management is so important especially at the beginning of the year because it sets the tone and sets expectations. It also creates that positive environment and it makes them feel safe. If they know what's going to happen and they know how their teacher operates, they feel safe. They feel like they can move forward and they know what's coming next. They know those expectations. Um, I don't know. I work in a school where the the poverty level is really low. Some kids, their parents are in jail, and me having that structured environment and that good classroom management and being organized just makes them feel successful and safe. Like they can come in and they know exactly what to expect. So it's really important for teachers to have that.
Very important. So, having that structure, I think a lot of kids really thrive with
Oh,
structure.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And
absolutely
a
right.
lot of people think, oh, structure, military, that they need to be free to, they can still be free to be engaged and do projects and everything, but in a structured way.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. So, we are here near the end of the summer. And so, teachers are inevitably thinking about heading back to school. So, what are some ways that teachers can start off the school year with great classroom management?
Well, first and foremost, I am a big believer on building relationships. Um, you have to build relationships with your kids. Ask them questions. Ask them, what did you eat last night? Just little things like that really get the kids like, oh, she cares about me. And those relationships, the kids will go leaps and bounds for you if you build a relationship. Another thing is set your expectations and be consistent. Don't, like, if you say, okay, guys, you're staying in for recess. Well, don't let them earn it back or something like that. Because then kind of like, she's kind of a pushover, type thing. And they don't take you seriously because you aren't consistent with your rules and your expectations. So, especially in the beginning, be very, very consistent. Set those expectations. If they don't do it right the first time, then okay, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again until they do it right and say, okay, that was great. Or also have the kid, can Sam, can you show the class how to line up it properly? And then he does that. And I'm like, okay, kids, like, what did Sam do? Oh, he didn't talk. He walked with his hands behind his back. All these things that the kids notice. What did you notice that they did? And those things, then Sam feels important. And everybody's like, okay, let's try to be like Sam. And then everybody wants to be like Sam. So, but just be very, very consistent. Another thing is also set that positive tone for your class, because like, welcome the kids, show them that you love that they're there. um Sometimes the kids like go home and their parents don't even pay attention to them. They're on their games and just go to your room type thing. And they need to feel like they're important, because that when they feel they're important, then they want to give you that back. They want to make you feel important by paying attention to you, doing the work that you're asking them to do. Just that buy-in is, really important. So those are some important things. Just really set your expectations, set your boundaries, and a lot of teachers go in the school year, oh, I want to be friends with these kids. I want them to love me. And at the beginning, you don't have to be mean, but you do have to be pretty strict. I always say it's like um the military, kind of like when you first go into, because I was in the army. So when you go in the military, you you go the basic, and they're yelling at you, and they're very strict, and stand here and you do this. Well, that's kind of how we have to be. We don't have to yell at them or anything like that, but we have to be very strict. And we line up like this. We do this. We, just really, really structured. And then you ease up a little bit. And then I promise you, they'll love you even more because you're structured. It happens every time. My partner is a brand new teacher, and she's like, I want the kids to like me. And I said, they will like you, but they need that structure. And every year my kids at first are like, oh my gosh, Miss Raymond's so mean. But then but now, oh my gosh, it's like, can I have a hug? And they're just so loving now. So yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that. Yeah, that's part of where I went wrong when I was in the classroom. I wasn't strict enough in the beginning in setting expectations, but yeah, I agree that those expectations need to be set right from the beginning. That consistency is super important, very, very important. But building those relationships on top of that is super, super important. So let's say that there's a teacher listening who is actually tuning in several weeks or even months after this episode airs, and so we're into the school year. So what are some tips that you have for teachers who are trying to get a hold of their classroom management mid-year?
Press reset.
I love
Start
it.
fresh from the beginning. Just
Mhm,
hit that button, reset button. Even if you have to switch up your schedule to make it different. Um, that's what I did one time, because every morning we were doing reading first, then math, then writing, just going through our routine. Well, I just had a chatty class. And so I had to press reset. So I just started fresh, and I explained to the kids why we're pressing reset. Then I did math first, and we did the math routine, and we just went through the expectations and what I expect. And while I'm teaching, you're not talking. And sometimes what happens is the kids will talk while you're teaching, and you just keep going because you don't want to interrupt your lesson. You have to stop your lesson. You have to stop, pause. We'll wait for you to finish your conversation, or something like that. Or is there something you need to share? And they kind of get that surprise look or whatever. But you have to stop, because if you keep teaching while they're talking, you're basically saying it's okay.
Mhm.
My favorite thing is, if you permit it, you promote it. you
Mhm.
know
Yeah. It's like you're
that
setting an expectation that that's okay.
right, like, oh,
Yeah.
well, I'm going to keep teaching while you're talking, so tomorrow they're going to do the same thing, because, oh, she's going to keep
Mm.
teaching. So you have to be consistent. And if they start talking while you're teaching, oh, we'll wait for you, and just kind of stand there. And then eventually everybody kind of looks at them, so they're getting that attention that they want. We'll all look at them, and then keep going after they're quiet.
Mhm. Mhm.
Or sometimes I have a kid that he's really chatty, and I'll go and I'll just like put my hand on his shoulder, or and then he kind of stops. And if that doesn't work, then you have to stop your lesson and just, we're done. You're not
Mhm.
talking while I am. And then I'll say, okay, guys, remember the expectation is that you are not talking while I teach. If I'm
Mhm.
giving instruction, you cannot conversate. And I'm like, how do I know you're listening? And they're like, eyes, ears, and body. But that's that me setting that expectation that your eyes are on me, that your hands are not writing, they're not doing anything else, that they're in your lap, and your body is facing me, and your ears are open. So, um, and it's just something that I do every single time I teach. How do I know you're listening? Square your shoulder. Tell them to square their shoulders. So then that means their shoulders are squared up with me. So if their back is towards me, they have to turn their chair all the way around, because their shoulders need to be squared up. So, just little things like that, setting that expectation. Um, Whenever you press reset, though, you need to make sure that you explain to them why you're pressing reset, and explain, you know, we I need our class to run a certain way. And this is why we're going to do that. But then you're going to have to go right back, like, to the beginning. If they line up and they start chatting while they're lined up, okay, let's sit down. Let's try this again. I mean, just like you would do at the beginning of the year. Just press that reset button, and just be very, very clear with your expectations. You think that they know, but sometimes they don't. So you have to be very clear. Like, you think,
Okay.
oh, when you line up, you're not going to talk. No,
Mhm.
they need you to tell them that's what you expect.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
be
absolutely.
very clear.
Yeah. I love that you call it a reset button. I think that's really cool. And I also, while you're talking, I was thinking about, all of the pressure that teachers feel about all of the content that we have to get through in a year. It's almost like, uh, you know, oh my gosh, I don't have time to stop and reteach these procedures. I don't have time to go over this. But if you don't take that time, you're going to be spending so much more and wasting so much more time redirecting and not getting to that content anyway. So I think
You
that that's
cannot teach and get stuff to the kids, the content to the kids, if you don't have that classroom management. It's just not going to work. So taking a week of doing procedures is going to save you hundreds of hours
yeah,
of,
tons of time.
I
Yeah.
mean, that is so essential. And these kids need to feel successful, and they need to feel supported, and they need to feel that, that their teacher has a handle on this.
Mhm.
So, and they don't feel safe when the kids are running around and screaming and yelling, and they don't feel safe. So
Mhm.
it's just really, really important to have that classroom management and let them
Yes.
know those expectations. And if you
Yes.
have to press that reset button, press it. Even if you have to make a reset button to, for them to
Mhm.
visualize it or anything, make one
I love
and
it.
press it and just say, this is what I expect, and then don't take anything less.
Mhm. Mhm. I love it. I love it. So if you're listening right now and you are struggling with classroom management, this is your permission slip to hit the reset button. I love that. So,
Yes.
Jennifer, why do you say that it is important that we engage students when it comes to classroom management?
Um, you know, if you don't have some kind of engaging something, the way you're teaching, your activity, they get bored. And what do you do when you get bored? I start
Tune it out.
doodling.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm all over the place. I start reading, I
Mhm.
start doing something else. So,
Mhm.
in order to have your students be engaged and do that, sometimes you have to act silly. And they're like, oh gosh, don't be afraid to act silly. I mean, I'll make funny voices. I'll even get on the floor and, I'm teaching them about idioms right now. And one of them is like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And so I'll like act like the horse and gallop and, just being really, really silly. And it really like engages them. So it's not even like if you have to use a certain kind of curriculum, because I know some schools are really strict about the curriculum they use. But I mean, even with that curriculum that you use, you can do little things to make it engaging. What I did is they had this worksheet that they wanted the kids to do. And I was like, you know what? So I made like 4 copies and I cut them up into each problem and I put them in groups and I said, okay, on the start button or on the start timer, we're going to press start. What you're going to do is you are going to put glue stick on your nose and you can't use your hands. You're going to send one person at a time to come get the problems off of my table. And so they had group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4's problems, and they went and they were picking it up with their nose. And
Oh
I
my
mean, because glue
goodness.
stick isn't toxic or anything like that.
Uh,
I mean, people eat it. So but so they put a little bit on their nose and they'd go and pick up the problem and they'd run it back to their group and they would all work it out together. And you
oh,
know
how fun.
and it's still the curriculum, but guess what? It's engaging
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
by cutting it up, just little things like that. With reading, have them read to each other, and then, or you guys read this paragraph, you read this paragraph, tell that group what this paragraph was about.
Mhm.
Just little things like that. Or I put questions around the room and I have them travel and they have to travel. Okay, so what was the story about? Write a summary, main idea, whatever the questions are, it's around the room. They're up out of their seats.
Mhm.
You would not believe the difference it makes when these kids are engaged. It helps you with their class management, but
Mhm.
it also helps them learn because then
Right.
they retain that information more
Mhm.
when they're engaged. So
Mhm.
it's very, very important for classroom management and for learning. So,
I love that. Yes, I absolutely agree. Definitely when you're engaged in something, you are retaining that information. And when the students are engaged, classroom management is going to be so much easier on the teacher. So I totally agree.
yes.
So, how about those students who are just not buying in? So, what are some ideas that you have to help teachers as they are trying to get those students or just any students who are not buying in to buy into those management procedures that they've set?
So, so I'll tell you, I'm going to tell you a story. Um, I had this student. He was very defiant. He's too cool for school. Like,
Mhm.
you just can't handle it. I mean, he did whatever he wanted. He cussed. He did whatever he wanted. His birthday came around, and I mean, I was just I'm just gonna call him Adrian, so Adrian, he just thought he was just too cool. Like, I don't have to do this. And then I was like, well, you know what? You want to go to the next grade? He goes, oh, I didn't do nothing last year and they still passed me.
Mm,
So he was a very smart kid. He had already picked that up. And
mm,
um, so he just was yucky, defiant, didn't have any respect. So his birthday came up in August. We started in August, and one of his birthday was one of the first ones. So what I did with him is I contacted mom and asked her if I could take mom and him to go to lunch for his birthday. And she's like, yeah, sure. So I took them to lunch. After that, he was in the palm of my hand. He did
mm,
everything I asked him to do. He actually saw that I cared about him. I got him a birthday present. I took him to lunch. And from then on, I had not one issue with him. Not one. These kids just want to know you care about them. And some of them need convincing a little more than others.
mm,
But I mean, you have to show them that you care about them and that you genuinely care about their success. Another thing to get them to buy in also is data collecting. They love to see their data. They love to see that they're growing. They love that. I mean, kids they want to be successful, but sometimes they don't have that encouragement at home. So then we do data and then they get to see themselves grow and they're like, oh, look. And so the next time they take a test and they know that they're going to put the data in, they're going to try really hard.
mm,
Um, but it's the same with classroom management. Like, do it something with the data. Like, oh, today everybody was, you know, doing good or whatever, and they can see the data. So,
mm.
and then your principal will love you for doing the data. So I just, but
That's very true.
yeah.
I
But
love
it
that.
it works. It works, the kids buy in. And kids that I thought, yeah, they're not gonna care. Oh, they care. And then at the end of the like we collect attendance because I have a really bad issue with attendance. So we do data collecting on attendance. And you cannot even imagine how much it's changed my attendance. The
Mm.
kids, oh, I get a beat, and then on Friday I have Jolly Ranchers, those are my secret weapons or whatever. And so if they're here the whole week, they get a Jolly Rancher. Oh, they love it.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. And another thing is, I have a will. So, I was having an issue with the kids when I would have a guest teacher like come talk to me or something. They were loud and out of their seats, and I'm just like, whoa, I got to do something. So what I did is saw I saw it on TikTok or something. I can't remember, but when a teacher comes in, if they're quiet, I have that teacher spin a wheel, and if it lands on something, it's a chance. It's not a guarantee, but it's a chance if it lands on one of the three dots or something, they get a treat. So oh, these kids buy
Oh,
in all the way. They love it. So
how
don't
fun.
yeah, I mean, you just have to be creative. You really have to be creative. And Jolly Ranchers are pretty cheap, and they go miles. They go miles with the kids. And
I
so, and
love it.
you get a bunch. So,
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
and I know like teachers can't afford, a lot of teachers can't afford prizes and stuff. Even if it's like, oh, you get to sit with a teacher, something, just some or extra recess time or anything like that. Like those kids will buy in. But
Mhm,
my biggest thing is build that relationship.
mhm, mhm,
Even if you go to their soccer games, go to their baseball games, go to their basketball games. Like I have actually a resource in my store, and it's an invitation, and it goes home to the parents. And what it is something that goes to the parents, and it says something like, um, if you have a recital, if you have a game, something, write it here, and I will go to that, to one of their things.
Hmm.
And they, I mean, it makes the world of difference. It makes the world of difference. Just going to a game, showing them that you care about their game, about their personal life. Asking them about, did you guys win? Did you win? And it just, they feel so important then.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
yeah, so
I
that's how
love
you get a
that.
buy-in.
Yeah, I love that, and I'll definitely link that in the show notes. I think that is a really cool resource that you have. I really like that. And I know that you have also been working on another resource for teachers to help them with their classroom management. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so what it is, it's a big, s- it's gonna be different pictures, but there's little squares over, and I know teachers have seen it before, probably seen it before, some kind of like reveal the prize type thing. Um, so I'm going to do some pictures, and what they're going to do is they're going to be able to pill one sticker at a time. Um, and they're going to be able to reveal a big, like a bigger price. So it's going to take a little while before they can, because you don't want something like every day. Oh, okay, they get a prize today. Oh, they get a prize today. You want
Mhm,
it to be something that leads up to that. So you want it to be like a weekly thing, or even a monthly thing, to get a big prize. And it could be like a movie day, or um I do pajama days. Oh, my kids will do anything for pajama day. Just little things like that. So I will have that completed soon. And so, but I am also going to include a free one. So definitely grab that. But yeah, it's just a reveal the prize type resource.
that is gonna be really cool. I'm excited to see that. So, I will definitely link that in the show notes as well. So, if you are interested in that, you can go grab the free sample of Jennifer's Classroom Management Reveal resource, and
Yeah.
then you can check out the full resource as well. So, Jennifer, is there anything else that you wanna add that we haven't already covered?
Um, I'll just recap. Be consistent, build relationships, um, do little things to engage them, even if you're acting silly. Um, and I mean, that biggest one is being consistent and clear expectations. Like, set those expectations and don't budge on them. Nope, this is what I expect, and that's it. No, I always say people only do what you allow them to do. So, and that goes with kids too. Kids at the beginning, they're going to push and push and push and push until they push you, like, till you get mad. They want to see
Mhm,
you get mad. But if you set those expectations, and don't budge on it and say, no, this is my expectation and this is how you're going to behave, you have a
mhm,
consequence for every
mhm,
action. Because if you don't have that clear consequence, or and I always tell my kids, you have a choice to
mhm,
do right or wrong. And so if you choose wrong, then it you
mhm.
know then that's what you're choosing. So
Mhm. Yeah, and you get the consequence that comes with it.
right, yeah.
Thank you so much for all of those tips. Those are awesome. Please go ahead, Jennifer, and tell my audience where they can find you if they want to connect with you.
I have a TPT store. It's the Old Barn Teaching Company. I also have a website. It's theoldbarnteachingcompany.com. There's my blog and a little store there. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and it's all the Old Barn Teaching Company. So it's a pretty unusual name. So I have it all over the place. um, Yeah, so you guys can reach out to me. If you want tips or anything on classroom management, just let me know. And I am a mentor for my school for classroom management. So, I help other teachers do that. So if you need help, then just let me know.
I love that. Thank you so much. And I will definitely link all of those places to connect with Jennifer in the show notes. So, Jennifer, thank you so much for joining me today and spending this time talking about classroom management. I've really enjoyed the conversation.
I have too. Thank you so much. I listen to your podcast all the time, by the way.
Oh, thanks, Jennifer. That's so sweet. I love that. So, thank you so much for listening today. And I hope to see you back here next week, same time, same place. Until then, have a great week. If you've been around here for a while, then you know I like a good pun. So, get ready for this one. This summer, I am publishing a bi monthly summer publication for upper elementary teachers called the Dog Days Digest. For this publication, I am fetching the most tail waggingly inspirational ideas for teachers as they pause to beat the heat in the summer. I told you it was punny. My vision for Dog Days Digest is for upper elementary teachers to be able to find inspiration for the upcoming school year while lounging by the pool, escaping the hot dog days of summer. So, I rounded up some of the best articles, podcast episodes, and videos from 25 amazing teacher authors. This curated list of content is all in one place, so all you have to do is kick back, relax, and enjoy all summer. Topics include all subject areas, plus classroom management, back to school, self care, instructional strategies, and classroom prep. It's all free to access, and you don't even have to sign up. Just head to teachertechstudio.com/dog days digest 24. And you can bookmark the page for easy access. Or if you do want to be notified of new issues that are released, you can subscribe right there on the page. So grab your tablet, earbuds, and a fun summer drink and get ready to read, listen, and watch. That address again is teachertechstudio.com/dog days digest 24. And that link will also be in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Upper Elementary Simplified. I hope you are able to take away something useful that will help you grow as a teacher. I do have a quick favor to ask before you go. If you are enjoying the podcast, please let me know by leaving me a review. It really does make a difference because reviews impact search results, which helps me to expand my reach to other educators. Plus, I love to read my listeners' comments. Until next time, keep life simple.